December 1st, welcome. This is the Ask Stuart Hour. Remember, if you're if you're here for the first time, you can't remember because you've never heard me say this before. But feel free to type in your comments and questions. I'm going to get to all the stuff it came over on my computer, and we'll get to your comments, questions here. Feel free to share your observations. If you would like me to turn your microphone on, all you need to do is tell me that. Just type it in there. Type it in, and I will warn you before I do it so that you know what's going on. We can talk, ask your question, we can chat, then I'll shut it back off again. If you want to put your camera on, we can do that too. We can do that too. We want to see your beautiful smiling face. Good morning. It is December 1st. Can you believe it? I can't believe it. It has been a phenomenal year for me personally. Just so you guys know, I'll just let you know it's been the best speaking gig season of my whole career. And I have one more speaking gig to go, which is on the Carnival Vista. And I leave on Wednesday for that. And I board in Aruba. All right, let me check the question box here one more time to say hello to welcome everybody. Jenny said, hi, Stuart. Hi, Jenny. Welcome. Hans said, smart people indeed. Indeed. All right, let me just see who else is here that I need to welcome. Oh, yeah. All my friends. This is so exciting. I just want to see if I recognize anybody who may be new here. Hey, wow. Oh, yeah, Natalie. Hey, Natalie, you're in the house. First time. Welcome. Yeah? Now, remember, everybody, you go ahead and feel free to type in anything that you want. I'll try to respond. I'll go back and forth and back. Oh, wow. All my friends are here. This is so exciting. Thank you so much. Melissa's, and you're fairly new. You absolutely are. You are. I'm glad you're here, Melissa. Welcome. Carl, hey, man, I'll see you on the Carnival Vista. Indeed. Yeah, I'm not getting on the ship on Saturday because I'm doing 2 workshops for you guys, and they are towards the end of the cruise. And I'm doing a half marathon. What's today? Friday. I'm doing a half marathon tomorrow morning. So, and that's when the ship departs. So it all worked out. It all worked out. All right, here we go. We're going to dig in one more time. Quick chat. Geneva, I'm not new, but I'm trying to restart my sessions with you. Awesome. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're back. Even when you're not here, we're here. They're always recorded. I promise you I'm going to figure out how to also convert them to MP3s so you can download it, take it on the go. If you run or walk or jog or elliptical, you can listen. You don't have to necessarily see me. And I'm glad you're here, Geneva. This is great. All right, here we go. We're going to dig in here in no particular order, and then I'm going to check the boards for comments and questions. Drew from Charting Memories Travel has a group idea. We have a lot of microbrewer. I can't pronounce this word, by the way. Microbreweries. I can't do it. So I'm just going to say microbrews. How's that? In our area, thought it would be cool to try to set up a group based on beer. I think it's a great idea. I have at least one owner on board willing to help get the word out, make beer available at a discount. Carnival BDM helping to determine that Carnival will be game as long as they get the beer at no cost to them, and the participants have the adult beverage package. So I'm going to stop right there. I want to address this for a second because, you know, if you want to do wine tasting or beer tasting, and you have a sponsor, you have a partner, and there are a lot of issues here. Now, I've had experience with this because I worked with, I used to coach you may know, Jason Bukema. When he first got his business off the ground doing the Groove Cruise, he always had a beer sponsor, or a booze sponsor, I should say. And one of the biggest issues is that all cruise lines have relationships with distributors, and if that beer company or booze company doesn't already have a relationship, it's almost impossible to get that brew or that booze on board because they have made commitments to those providers not to sell anyone else's stuff, and certainly not to take away sales from their stuff. So it's definitely an issue, and I'm glad, Drew, that you're having conversations with the cruise line about this. I'm sure they've been asked this. They've been down this road a million times. And I see, though, that they're asking that the brewery provide it a complimentary. And that still might be an issue because the cruise line may say, wait a minute, you're going to give out free beer. You're not going to buy our beer. So I'm just laying out what could go wrong to ask the right questions before you get too deep here. And naturally, the whole idea is, I would imagine that they want to do a tasting of their own brew on board, which is great. But let me give you a couple of observations, which could be that was number one, very critical. So for everybody involved, just know that there could be a lot of obstacles to overcome if they're already not an accepted distributor. Number two, what you may want, what if the focus wasn't on them bringing multiple beers on board, which, first of all, they'd have to ship it. The shipping is very, very expensive. It has to be stored on board the ship. That's another big issue. Even the biggest cruise ships don't have lots of storage space. Even the biggest cruise ships, they use every centimeter of space. So I'm just telling you, because I went down this road before with clients, even clients who wanted to do bicycle trips. Storing the bicycles is very, very difficult, right? Have you guys ever had that experience before? I'm going to check the board, see if you guys have any comments or questions on this. But what if it's more about, I don't know, the history of brewing, recipes, how to start your own home microbrew lessons, because obviously these people are coming together, they're coming together for a reason. And let me just say this right now, that I know that you say you have one of the owners on board, but what you want to do is you want to get that commitment letter signed. You want to get a commitment letter signed. We talked about this the last time we had the Ask Stuart Hour. Was it Lynn? Did we do it with you, Lynn? And so this way you guys are wed, if you will. And it's got to be more than getting the word out, right? It's got to be more than that. For number one, you want to do the group viability test. It's in boot camp. Make sure that all 10 points are fulfilled, because why would people, Drew, be compelled to spend all that money to go away just to be with these dudes from the microbrew? There has to be a compelling reason. What am I going to learn? What am I going to do? What's the glue that binds? What's the strong affinity? And number two, you've got to make sure you've got good group leaders. You've got a good partner here, because they will have to do great marketing. I would imagine they have lists. I would imagine they have a tap room, let's say, where you could do promotions and marketing, and you want to do the group launch sequence. You want to do the group launch sequence. All right, let me just get back here and says another challenge so far is, now I don't know what this is, guys, if you live in Florida, the 3-tier system that Florida has for selling beer. I don't know what that is, but that concerns me, because I don't like any tier system. I want to be able to walk in and get a good-looking beer and a good tasting beer without a 3-tier system. So I don't know what this means. What I do want to say is that ship is not U.S. flag. So I don't think it sort of abides by the Florida beer rules. I don't know. I could be wrong. But check that out. You see? And we have to get the correct distributors involved, indeed. So I want to check the board, see if anybody has any comments or questions. Hello, Jay, you're here. Welcome, my friend in Canada. Jenny says, and they charge for that storage. Yeah, indeed. So if you need the ship to store, and folks, this goes for all of you who, you may have experienced this already, that if you're bringing items, whether it's a river cruise or a big ship cruise, space is at a premium. The shipping's expensive for them to load it on board. The ship could be very expensive if you can't bring it through the normal entrance, the normal gangway. If they have, if it's shipped there. I've been through this when I've done groups where they bring a band on board, and the band has equipment. It's expensive. Now, it can be done. I don't want to scare you guys, because you know how much I love groups. I love you, and I believe if you can dream it, you can do it. But just be aware of the technicalities and the costs that may be involved, too. And make sure you protect yourself. You CYA. I'm not going to say it. This is a family show. You CYA. Oh, Drew, I hope that helps. See if there's any more comments on that. Drew, hey, Drew. Okay, the 3-tier system. Thank you, Drew. It just means that the distributor must sell to the ship. The brewer cannot sell directly. Ah, I got it. I got it. Now, what you should do, and you may have already checked this out, Drew, is talk to the BDM, talk to Carnival to see because if they just use it as a port, and I know they have a headquarters there, but they're really not U.S. flagged. If the same thing, you know, I guess you've already checked this out if that rule applies. So, look, I love the concept. Micro brews are definitely growing in popularity, but my big, aside from the technicalities of it, why would people go on this? Ask yourself that question. Why would people go? And as much as it sounds great, you love it, I love it too. But why would I go? Are these, the people who own it, are they very social? Do they have strong ties in the community? Are they, you know, are they great with people? Do people want to hang out with them? Sort of like, are they celebrities in a way? You know, that might add to the, that's important, not might add, that's important. Sam says the Carnival Vista, I can't wait to see the Carnival Vista next week, has its own brew master in the Red Frog Pub and Brewery, where passengers watch how he makes beer. I love it. That's cool. Very interesting. I gotta believe they put that on the ship not only to sell microbrew beer, to add another element of entertainment and activity, but maybe that, Drew, there's an opportunity, and you may have already discussed this with the BDM, which is the best thing in the world, is to work together. I've got to believe the ship, or maybe this ship or other ships, have done these kind of programs and give you some great ideas, man. You don't have to reinvent the wheel necessarily, you know. I love this stuff. Good stuff. Thank you, Sam, for sharing. Carl says, Florida's three-tier system provides that licensees may only hold license within one tier of the system, either as a manufacturer, distributor, or vendor, although Florida law permits Florida wineries to hold a license in more than one tier. Wow, this is... Carl, how do you know so much about this? Look at this. I can't read all this, but I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to send it to Drew so he can see it after. Let me see if I can send it. If I can do this right now, just in case. Hold on there. Hold on, everybody. Look at the sharing of information. I love the sharing of information. Drew, you may already know this, but if, look at this. Wow, I am so good at this. Send privately. Boom. So, Drew, you may have it. You may already know it, but just in case. Carl, thank you, man. That's awesome stuff. Carl, are you in the beer business? I think you're in the beer business. Jenny says, and then there is the issue of the Port Authority. You cannot just drive into the pier and unload. Exactly. Yeah, that's right. You have to have the unions do it, and there's fees. But it's been done, can be done. Patty says, what about using the TCs to use a cabin for storage? Absolutely. Absolutely. But that also takes away, indeed, that also takes away a big bite out of the profits, or of, you can't resell that. You know what I mean? I think it's a great idea, Patty. If the numbers work, you can do that. And that's actually a great idea. Just keep in mind that unless somebody wants to sleep on top of beer bottles, actually that might be interesting though. Actually, sleep with the beer. Sleep with the beer. That's the name of the group. Sleep with the beer. Lynn, please post for all of us. Oh, you got it. Let me see if this works with the three-tier rule, because Carl is so awesome. Send to all. Tell me if you all get that. There you go, Lynn. Carl says, LOL, but have friends in the business. Yeah, I just thought maybe you just enjoyed drinking a lot of beer, so you just knew all the rules. I don't know. Jenny says that would the TC cabin be large enough? Yep, and that's what we just discussed. Patty suggested that might work. You bet, Lynn. All right, cool beans. All right, here we go. So if there's anything else that comes up on that, and if you guys who are watching this after, in other words, if you're missing this live, you're watching this recording, if you have ideas, put it on Facebook, man. Get in touch with Drew from Charting Memories Travel. Let's help each other out. That's one thing I love about boot camp, is the sharing of best practices. Hans asks these questions. What are some good ways to manage your group and client base? CRM software like Client Base, Excel spreadsheets. Are there other group management programs? This is a great question, Hans. And I'm afraid I don't have one outstanding big answer, because as far as I know, there is not one dominant, fabulous CRM or database program or group management program out there today. There are several, and I want to put an asterisk there, because again, and I mean no disrespect to all the programs out there. What I can tell you is I know Client Base has been around for a long time, and I'm not going to pass judgment on any of it. I also know that client ease has been out there for a long time. Now, I'm going to be partisan here for a second because I happen to have a personal relationship with Darla at Client Ease. She's been a business friend for many, many, many years. And I know some of you use Client Ease. And Hans, I want to say this, that this has been such a big subject. And so many travel professionals don't use a database system, which is critical. I'm going to say it again. It's critical. Because if you're not using it, if you're using Excel spreadsheets, which is sort of the default, then you're not operating efficiently. So you will always be held back. Your growth will always be held back because of the manual system that you're using to monitor, to do invoicing, to store information, to send out email blasts. Now, I believe Client Base does that, and I know Client Ease does that. And because there was such a big issue that most agents didn't have a program they loved, I struck up a deal with Darla, and that deal is in boot camp now if you want it. It's a special, I don't make any money on it. I'm just looking to help you guys out and my friend Darla. So if any of you use Client Ease, you want to post something here or in Facebook, go ahead and do it. The pros and cons, do it. Also, I had Darla on a prior Ask Stuart Hour where she talked about it, the program, and I can bring her back again, or we can do a separate standalone program just on, software techniques. And Hans, there's two hard parts here. Okay, the first hard part is deciding which program to use. I get that. All right, but maybe I've just given you the answer. I don't know. But yeah, actually, the really first hard part is for you guys to make a commitment to your business to do it and to use it. And I know some of you on the line right now are doing it and using it, whatever it may be. And you can stand up and you can preach on the benefits of it, that you have one go-to program that captures all details about your guests, invoicing, payments, information that you can go back and use later on. It's critical, my friends, critical. Number two is deciding which product. And number three is actually doing it. And this means you're going to have to, I would imagine, unplug for an hour, a day, to transition either from your existing program that you're using to the new one, or start fresh. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Darla has systems of downloading and uploading and side loading and front loading and back loading. But you just got to get over that bridge, man. You got to get over that bridge. Once you're over that bridge and you're in the groove using it, you're going to be jumping for joy. You'll be popping the cork in a champagne bottle. You see? Let me see what comments and questions we have. Then I know you have more stuff here, Hans. I hope that helped you. Hey, Marshall. Oh, Marshall is here. Marshall, you got to tell me if I'm pronouncing your name right or wrong, because I know we spoke on the phone. We had an awesome conversation. You are a brand new boot camper, and I'm glad you're here. But I am the world's worst name pronouncer. So tell me, is it Marshall? You tell me if I'm doing it right or wrong, because remember, Lena, right? I used to always pronounce your name wrong. I think I finally got it now. I'm not shy about it, man. I want to make sure I get it right. I call you Miss Chapman if you want, but I'm so glad that you're here. And I'm going to scroll through. We've got a lot of comments, questions here. Lynn says, the last Ask Stuart Hour, you said that you'd post a marketing plan template in boot camp. Are we able to do that soon? Yes, Lynn, and I have it written here. This is just this week's to-do list, which actually, this was a brand new list because I did so much yesterday, so I added more. And on the list is to do the marketing plan. Yes, I promise. What I really wanted to do, Lynn, is do a live webinar. And if you guys could come, great. If you can't come, then I would record it, but there would be an attached PDF for the marketing plan. I call it my master action plan, my map to success. And I promise you, I promise I'm going to get it to you. You know, it's been a crazy time for me. No excuse, because I work for you. I answer to you. Okay. I was in New York for Thanksgiving, and like every week and a half I'm someplace different speaking, which is awesome, which is also prohibited from me from doing it sooner. And I'm sorry. I will get it done for you. I promise. Thanks, Lynn. Han said he's going to check out the Client Ease podcast. Cool. Natalie, now listen up, everybody. I use Client Base Plus every second of the day for groups. It's a long process to learn, but greatly useful. Need multiple days to learn. In person is best. Client E sounds just as great, and we'll check it out for difference. Thank you, Natalie, for sharing. I appreciate that. Hans, there's a vote of confidence. You know, I got it right, Marshall. Thank you, Marshall. I got it. Thank you so much. I'm so glad you're here. Now, one thing I want to tell you is that you want to find a program that's as intuitive as possible, right? Intuitive, meaning I would hope you wouldn't have to go, for days and weeks and months of training. That things make sense so you can figure it on your own, or at the very least, they have a great support staff. Now, I can't talk about Client Base or Client Ease. All I know is they probably, as you've just pointed out, Marshall, they offer training and so forth. But the bottom line is that it is that commitment to learn how it works and to use it and to not give up. And the fact that Natalie, you use it, I wonder perhaps if we have people who want to get into the Client Base game, Client Base Plus game, perhaps you can share best practice. Maybe they have a question, they can post it on Facebook, and you can help. And I know we have Client Ease users because we've had testimonials shared here. I'm sure they'd be willing to do the same. Best practice is sharing. I love it. It's all good stuff. You bet, Lynn. My pleasure. All right. Now we're going to go back to the next question, Hans. Can you tell us about the Forms program and how to use it? Okay. Now for Forms, if you guys use other online forms programs, if you would type them in here, and I can send it out to everybody. I taught myself a new trick. Oh, I do have a handout. Remind me that I put a handout here for you guys to download. I just put it in boot camp too. But I use Jotform, JOTFORM.com, Jotform.com. I've used it for years. I don't know how I stumbled upon it, but I became an early adopter of it. And I reached the point where I have so many and so forth that I do pay now, but you can use the free version of it. And it's the same with Jotform. The more time you spend with it, the more tricks and tools and ideas you get using it. It's super cool. I think it's all drag and drop. You can customize things. You can do auto-response stuff. It's really fabulous. But again, it's going to take time to sit down and figure it out. But trust me, it's wonderful. It works great. I use it for everything. Jotform, Jotform. Now I know that there's other programs too, because you're talking about survey programs too. For the surveys, sometimes I create my surveys in Jotform. And what I do is, like for my own river cruise, remember I'm doing a partial ship charter of the Ama Christina, April 2017, just family and friends, and I use Jotform for everything. So when I needed people to sign off on their air and to enter their first, middle, last name, birth dates, because obviously it has to match the passport, obviously it has to match the air ticket, or else you ain't going on a river cruise. So the way I set up Jotform was that as soon as they clicked submit, a copy went to them and a copy came to me. And I structured that email to them to say, please review this immediately and be sure it is 100% accurate, because it must match your airline ticket and must match your passport. And I get a copy too, you see. Now, I'm sure MailChimp can do this too, because they have a survey. There's SurveyMonkey I hear people talking about. Everyone I'm hearing uses different things, but I actually use Jotform for both. Now, for my new business, which I'll be launching in spring, early of next year, it's in beta, rough beta. Rough, I sound like a dog. Beta phase. It's called Solopreneur Network, where I'm going to and you guys, I'm going to give all these tools to you too. Now, the benefit of membership, helping small businesses in all capacities, not just travel. I use there, instead of MailChimp, I'm going to be using Aweber, A-W-E-B-E-R, Aweber. I found that for that new business, that's better for me over there. And I do pay for Aweber, although MailChimp I've been using free for 10 years. I don't even know how long. And so Hans, I hope that helped. Let me just do a quick check here. Now we're going to move on. Okay, Julie says, now listen everybody, Julie uses email me form. Email me form. So that's one word. Email me form. Okay. Okay. And then Carl uses form site. Oh wow. Look at all these forms. Hey, do you want me to? Wow. Seriously? How'd you do that? You want me to send this to everybody? All right, I'm going to send this to everybody. Is that all right, Carl? Holy camole. Let's see if I can do this. I don't even know if JotForm's on here, but this is just, holy mackerel. This is just, there's just a million different surveys and form tools, and I'm going to send this to all that Carl has posted here. So rock and roll. I don't know if JotForm is on there, but there you go. Julie says, email me form allows you to collect credit card numbers. Okay, very good. And JotForm also, just so you know, does have a secure option where you can do that too. Got to be secure, obviously. So, but this is good. Email me form allows you to collect credit card numbers. Awesome. Hans, very helpful. Carl says, iSure, which is the letter I, S-U-R-E. Carl says, I'm a tech guy, like to sample different programs and sites. Very impressive. Thank you for sharing. I think everybody got that. Everybody could check it out. Use and Linda says, looked up jotform.com, looks pretty cool and easy to use. Yeah, it really is. It's drag and drop, and then when you see all the things it can do, I think you'll be very impressed. You'll be blown away. So to make sure this is recording. Yeah, it is. Okay, very cool. Let me go back to the questions here. All right. Melissa, I haven't received anything on my email. Oh, you haven't gotten anything on email. All right. Let me, I will make sure you do, Melissa. I don't know why, but I will get that fixed. I'm going to write that down right here. Melissa, email. I'm so sorry. I'll get that fixed right away. All right. Okay, here we go. Next question, Marina. Marina, are you in the house here? Let me know. Are you here? Are you here? We do all questions. Oh, you bet, Melissa. No problem. Rock and roll. Marina, I want to focus on small, high-end groups. Now, we've had this issue before. Let's talk about this, everybody. How do I add in all the amenities for the group and collect my fees? I know the cruise lines allow you to add something onto the price, but it's generally not that much, right? Most suppliers, most, not all, will allow you to do the markup, basically overpay, but there's always typically a limit. Sometimes they charge you the 3% credit card fee or whatnot, which I think is fair. Because if you had a merchant account, which of course is the other solution, you'd be paying a lot more than that. In other words, if I have a group trip for $5,000 and I need to make a profit of $1,000, how do you bundle it in so the client's not making separate payments? And you know, when it comes to groups, my friends, this perhaps is the single biggest issue in terms of technicality that I see, because you know what I preach. I preach, don't be selling the stripped down off the shelf bare bones product, because then you're no good. Then the online travel agents and your people are going to come back unhappy. They're going to come back missing out on stuff, and you're going to miss out on extra profits, and they're going to be miserable because all the stuff that they could have done, should have done, would have done, they had to do when they were there, and it was stressful, sold out, too expensive, whatever. You might as well package it in, and they can't shop you because you've created a magnificent package. But how do you do it? And I'm going to review some of those answers we've had here before, but then, Marina, I'm going to tell you that we've tackled this several times before, but it doesn't mean we have the perfect solution for everybody. It doesn't mean. And this is a work in progress. I'm going to share them in just a second. How do I bundle so the client's not making separate payments and several vendors? And of course, you want to do it so that the client can't figure out the line items, right? You don't want to give them the line items. You're going to remember when you go to present it to the group leader, you're going to say, hey, do I have your permission to present a package? Because if I can make a package, wow, can I really give you high value at a great package price, because I'm going to save you all the stress and the risk of getting there and realizing it's sold out, you can't get in, too much money, waiting online, so forth. I'm going to package it. All this stuff you need is done. Remember, because for those of you who are new, Marshall and Melissa and Drew, there's only 3 things you guys are good for. Number 1, you guys know this, who've been at boot camp before, you could probably say it by heart. Number 1, you reduce stress and risk. Number 2, you add value and convenience. And number 3, you transform lives. Now let me put that into real terms, transform. You take a group trip that could have been okay or south of mediocre. You make it better, you make it the best ever, because that's what you do, that's your job. You don't sell bare bones stripped down off the shelf package. And you can use those words. So how do you do it? So she says, do I need my own IATA number separate from a host, for instance, so I can book everything and collect on one invoice? So let me address this, because yes, based on, that's one issue of who you're affiliated with. If you're affiliated with a host, if you're affiliated with a franchise, you definitely want to check with them first to see what options they have for you. Number 2, obviously, you want to work with suppliers that allow you to do the highest markup possible, the highest overpayment possible. Okay. Number 3 is the merchant account, which is a very expensive proposition, and sometimes clients are not terribly happy about having your name on their credit card statement. They sometimes prefer to have the cruise line or the hotel company. I understand that, but that's another option. It's an expensive option, but it could work. Marina, here's what I typically suggest. And again, we've had a million ideas. And check the Facebook boards too, with some of the stuff we've talked about. So in addition to doing the markup as much as you can there, what if for the initial deposit you accepted it by check only, and that comes to you, make payable to your agency, and you're going to make a beautiful invoice that explains to everybody how it works. And you can even say to the group leader, look, I'm going to keep this money in escrow. Okay, so you see I'm not running away with it, but for the first payment, I require the initial deposit by check, and they make it payable to your agency. And then the rest of the payments can go direct to the cruise line. So the cruise line's name will appear in their credit card statement. Tell me what's better out there, folks. We've got new folks on the line. You guys have done groups too, right, Marshall? I mean, this is a challenge, and sometimes who you're affiliated with can help you. I'm not sure the answer is having your own IATA. And then also, if you have a franchise or host or whatever, you have to figure out where do those profits go? Do you have to share? And when you work with a host or franchise, almost always you do. So, I'm all about being fair, honest, and upright, upstanding citizenship here. So I'm going to check the board, see what you guys might have had to say about this. Michael says, me either you're sending emails and not getting them. What? No way! Oh my goodness. All right, we'll check it out. Okay, Marina's here. All right, let's see what we got here. Ramona, please email me also. Well, this is crazy stuff here. I'm glad I said something so we can get it fixed. I don't understand. Could be going in your spam filter, or maybe I have the email address wrong. I don't know. Okay, Linda, we're going to come back to your question in a second. Marshall says that she has an entirely different system. So I assume, Marshall, you're talking about how you take payments and so forth. And I don't know if you're at liberty to share that here or share that in Facebook so we can understand how you do it. I don't know, and I know you do a lot of groups, you do large groups. So, and my guess is you're already marking up. You've been down this road. You have a solution. If you'd like to share, that'd be great. That'd be awesome. Marina says, I really want to do more land trips than cruise trips. All right, more land, and I would imagine it's pretty similar. I don't know how well the land trips, if it's the motor coach company or if it's the hotel who will take the overpayment, but I think it's going to be the same solution. I really do. Linda says, if you do the deposit by check and keep an escrow, how is the deposit paid then to the cruise line? Well, that's one of the issues, is that you have to pay the cruise line. So if it's an escrow, then the group leader may say, well, how come some money's going, not going? All I'm saying is, if I wouldn't offer it unless it comes up as an issue, because if they don't know you and they're sending tens of thousands of dollars to your agency, they want to make sure you're going to be there in the morning. Okay, so maybe, again, only if this comes up as an issue. Good point, Linda. Do you offer this? Because if they know you, if they love you, they know where you live, it's not going to be an issue. The group leader will stand shoulder to shoulder with you and vouch for you. But if it's an escrow and perhaps you just work it out with the group leaders, only the group leaders' information to know that you say, I will have to ship monies around. I don't know, but I know that one agency, several agencies I've talked to in the past have done that as a solution, and indeed some monies have to be shifted out as deposits, or I don't know how much of a deposit that you're going to be putting out to the cruise line or the hotel company. Sometimes it's not that much. You may have to lay it out. It all depends. Marshall, here I'm going to read this here. I have a side business that sells groups, and we book it through the travel company. They are billed from my side business and have 5 different ways to pay us. So it sounds like, Marshall, because you have other businesses, they have some kind of a merchant account already, and there's another business name you use, so it gets funneled through there. So you tell clients, so you can accept their payments, and that works for you. And that's good that you have that. That's good. I mean, I used to have a merchant account program because I had my company, resortforaday.com, which you guys may or may not have known that I started that from the ground up. I no longer own it. It was acquired by World Travel Holdings, but I had to take credit cards. I couldn't use PayPal because even though PayPal takes all credit cards, it gets confusing. They really want you to have a PayPal account, which I use PayPal now, but I had my merchant account. It's expensive. But if you the more you use it, then you need to do it. Thanks for sharing, Marshall. Lori says, haven't seen any emails either. Holy cow! What's going on here? Get it fixed. I don't email out many, maybe 1 or 2 a month, but you should be getting them. Elaine says, email everyone, darling. No email from me either. Holy camole! Woohoo! Marshall says, I found my communication from you in my spam. Yeah, check everybody, check that spam folder. I promise you, I don't spam anybody. But for some reason, my email address sometimes drops in the spam folder even though I send it through MailChimp. So, and if you add, you know what? Add me to your contact list in your computer, which is Stuart@stuartloydcohen.com. Let me see if I can type that in case you don't know it. Stuart@stuartloydcohen.com. Send to all. There you go. Add me, because that's where it comes from, and it'll be less likely. Now, I've got more questions we've got to dip in here. Marty says, no email, sir, either. No way. I guarantee you that half of these are probably going into the spam filter. But I'm going to check them all. Marshall says, glad to share with the group how I do my booking. It's legitimate and has been passed through and approved by my host travel agency. There you go. So Marshall is a host too, and she has a way that works great. So thank you for sharing that. And anything else you want to share in the Facebook group is awesome. Marty says, if doing groups, need to have an escrow and be able to make EFT transfers to the suppliers. Yep. Electronic transfers. Princess requires this, cannot use agency credit card for them. So there you go. Marty's practicing this now. And having the escrow is important, and being able to electronically transfer the funds. Carl says, if you're okay with paying a merchant fee, usually 3%, some of the cruise lines will allow you to charge more than the normal amount, but charge your merchant processing fee. That's a good point, Carl. I would imagine they all have different rules. And maybe there's some out there that has no cap. You know, no top limit to the overpayment as long as you pay the 3%. You know, there is some liability in it for them, but check it out. It's a good point. And Marina says, how did you do my cruise? With my cruise, Marina, I actually used PayPal. I used PayPal, and I know what you're going to say, whether it's a regular merchant account or even PayPal, they all frown about doing business with a travel company. That's why Marshall said that the only way to do it is to fund it through another business. And I know you guys are legit. You're not going to mess around with this money, but I guess the credit card companies have been so burned before with travel situations that it's a red flag. And you know, my PayPal account I've had for many years. I have an excellent track record, and it was only isolated and with this one group trip I'm doing. Otherwise, you know, I'm not a travel agent, guys. You know, I don't sell travel other than just taking care of this charter for my family. Otherwise, I just collect, you know, boot camp payments, and I sell books, and I sell other stuff, whatever. And you know, so good point. Sam, no email. No email. All right, I'm going to go back. No email. Holy mackerel. Marshall says, I passed the credit card processing fee into the trip package so they never know. Right, so you can do the gentle markup there so you capture that back. And it's also a part of doing business. It really is. It's a part of people. So many people like and prefer to pay by credit card these days. It's a bummer, but because it takes the 3% out. But it's part of the deal. If you can do a slight markup, that's great. I think that's great. And Michael says, I do small land groups. I work with my agency for processing payments, and I work with suppliers that allow me to set up my own service fee. I tell my clients how the charge will appear in their credit card statement. You see that? So I'll say it again. Michael says he does small land groups. I work with my agency for processing payments, and I work with suppliers that allow me to set up my own service fee. You know, so that's another thing. Instead of, you know, go at it. If you ask them, hey, how can I add in a service fee? Because you guys have to be doing this. I mean, commission. You can't feed the family, put a new roof on the house, just making commissions. That's why you guys are in groups, to significantly increase your margins, your profitability, grow your business exponentially. Because you're not booking onesies and twosies, you're booking dozensies. And it's a lot easier to package and mark up with the group. One of the great things about selling the group is that you're creating one package, and all 20 people, 30 people, 40 people, 70 people have to take the same package. I don't believe in giving the menu, choose one from A, one from B, one from C, because that's just giving them too many choices. It's okay if you want to give them a choice of this or this, but minimize that. Create that amazing package. And if you want, maybe not even a price point different. I'm going to make this up here. Say, all right, it's $5,000 per person. And part of the $5,000, you have a choice of tours. Do you want this tour or this tour? Same price. Just tell me which one you want. So you don't have somebody saying, wait a minute, I don't want this. Okay, don't take this. Take this instead, because you're not going to reduce the price. Right? You're not going to reduce the price. Okay, I promise you that I will fix all the email things. And so if you're not getting my emails, type it in. I'll go back. I'll check, and I'll fix it. I totally agree about getting the merchant fee back, says Marina. Indeed. I want to make sure I go back. I don't lose Linda's question. Let me just take, okay, so Marina, I hope that helped you. By the way, we're, oh my goodness, 45 minutes in. I want to remind you, thanks, I know a couple of you couldn't make December 15. I changed the date. But I just thought it would be fun to do it on my birthday. Gene, I don't know, Gene, Annie, you here, you said, oh, you're working on your birthday. Yeah, what am I going to do? What else am I going to do? If I had my rowboat, I would go fishing. I don't have my rowboat yet. I have my lake house, but I don't have my rowboat. When I get the rowboat, I'm going to go fishing on my birthday. Otherwise, I'm going to work. I'm going to make a living. I'm going to be here for you guys. And by the way, I'm going to have at least one very special guest on December 15th, my birthday. So come celebrating. And I want you to put your cameras on, too, so I can see your beautiful smiling faces with your birthday hats. And if you're eating cake and if you're drinking champagne at 11 o'clock in the morning Eastern, 10 Central, 8 Pacific. But who knows Mike Marshev? Mike Marshev and I are very good friends. and we're competitors. And he's also my mentor. I love him. I make guest appearances on his shows. He's going to make a guest appearance on December 15th, and I'm working on another friend. So make sure you can be there. And I promise you, Len, I'm going to work on that marketing plan webinar. I promise. Okay, and let's go to this here, and then we're going to come back to Linda. We're going to come back to you. And this is we're talking a lot about corporate groups and incentive travel here. And frankly, I have a couple of pieces of information, a great overview of corporate groups in boot camp. It's something I'm deciding to see if we're going to heavy up in that area. Do you want that? Do you want more on corporate and incentive groups? Because there are different areas. I don't know if I should go the social marketing route, because I can't do social marketing stuff. I'm not the expert. I'd have to partner with a friend to bring in more social marketing stuff. Okay, and that's going to increase the price for all the new boot campers. For you guys, you're locked in. All cool. Or should it be corporate stuff? Of course, you're probably saying, do both. I got to pick one. I got to start with one. So let me know what you think about that. So Ann says here, got a lead on a corporate group from my massage therapist whose husband is on the senior management team. Last year, for the first time over Memorial Day weekend, they took 150 employees to Cancun as an employee appreciation trip, not even an incentive. Wow, this is awesome, right? Now they've doubled the employees this year to 300, and they want to take another trip over Memorial Day weekend. Now this is important, everybody. The wife is decision maker, but the wife has handed it to a busy HR person to interact with you, the travel agent, Ann. Ann has tried to get direct conversations with her, but no luck. The busy HR person will only communicate by email and won't even talk till after the holidays because of all the enrollment things going on with healthcare. So I know you wrote a lot here because the issue is you don't know what to pitch, right? And you don't know, because now the wife, the owners, the people who are running the show said, all right, go ahead, we're going to have my HR person handle it. And what's happening? HR person is pushing back. And you know why? I suspect because they don't want this. I suspect this HR person has no time, is afraid to deal in this area perhaps because it's risky stuff, travel. Just doesn't want to be bothered, doesn't want to take on more responsibility. And the problem here, everybody, and you've dealt with this before, when you have the big cheese, pass it down to another cheese, and that cheese says, oh, I have no time for you. Okay, what's going to happen here is the big cheese is going to say, come to you and say, how's it working? You're going to go, it's not. I don't have information because I can't. And you don't want to badmouth this other person, but they're not coming through for you. The big cheese is thinking everything is great. And what's going to happen is the employee, this HR person, when asked, is going to blame you perhaps, might put the heavy on you, might make you the heavy, that you haven't come through, you haven't delivered. They're not going to, they're not going to say, oh, I've been too busy, I'm doing this, I haven't had time. There's a risk they might make you the heavy. And then you say, should you just send over different quotes and ask questions because you're just not getting enough answers to know what city they want to go to, because you're saying they want to do a city stay this year. So here's what I would suggest, because I don't think you're going to get anywhere pursuing the same course of action. This HR person will always have another big, critical, more important project on their desk. I think you got to work hard to set up a meeting with both of them, and you got to work through the wife, the owner. And I think it would be awesome if you can get them all together. Work really hard on that, even if it's before hours, after hours, over lunch. Take them out, offer to take them all out for breakfast or lunch or dinner. And see, maybe if you got a little, if there's 6 or 7 of them, whatever, get a little private room in the back of a restaurant. It may be worth the investment. My point is, you got to get them all together because Ann, you're never going to get, if you do talk to the HR person, get this, the HR person has to go back and resell your ideas to them, and they're never going to sell it with the same gusto, the same enthusiasm, the same level of detail, and they're not going to look to they're not going to ask for the business, and say close. I never, Marshall and Drew, you guys are new here. I never say close the sale. I say open the sale. They're never going to look to open it, okay? Because you will. You know how to present and qualify, overcome obstacles. You won't be there for that. So you've got to work really hard to eliminate this issue and go back to the wife and see if you can schedule a meeting with everybody and make it 30 minutes. If that's too much time, make it 15. And you can even send all the questions in advance so they answer it there. But the whole idea is that to make your sales process most efficient. Everybody listen up. Very important. Instead of running through the typical 4 stages, here's what I teach is, because the 4 stages right now are qualify, asking questions, going home, coming back and presenting, listening to all the obstacles, which is finding out all the things you missed that you didn't give or stuff you gave that they don't want, and then asking for the business. And you have no permission to ask for the business until you overcome obstacles. So every time you hear an obstacle, you got to go back up to the top and qualify. So I say you combine the first 3 stages. Pay attention. I was just at the Travel Leaders Convention down in New Orleans, and I taught this very thing. You want to combine both things, which means, and you need to be with everybody at the same time. So you're going to ask the questions. You're going to play detective, and the first question you're going to ask, write this down, is what don't you want? What are the things that didn't work out great or the things you missed on your last trip? Ask what don't you want first. Trust me, they'll be shocked. But man, you'll then already know the obstacles, which is usually this stage here. So when you ask those questions now and play detective now, and you repeat them back as you write it down so they hear you saying it, they're going to say, oh, you get it, you get me. And they're going to say, no, that's not what I meant. And so what you're doing is you're going to change it right there. You're doing all 3 stages. So at the end of that meeting, you're going to say, all right, if I can get all this, and if you don't want this, and this, are we ready to rock and roll and do business? Because we're going to have to move on it quick because I know it's around the corner for you. And that's where I think it's got to work. Otherwise, I would not shoot over a proposal. I would not shoot over anything because it's going to fall on deaf ears because this other HR person is too busy. And I love this HR person. They're probably doing an amazing job. They're a beautiful person. And they just may not have the bandwidth to tackle this. And you don't want to put it on them that they're dropping the ball, and you don't want to be seen as dropping the ball. Got to be real careful here. I hope that helps. Let's see if anybody has any. Well, actually, hang on. Let me just take on Linda's here. And Elaine, we got you and I've got Ed here. Oh, my goodness. Linda, any ideas where to make a simple booklet? I'm doing a bridal show in January. Would like to give away a small booklet on top 5 destinations for destination weddings. So booklet ideas. First of all, so you want to actually physically hand it to somebody, because I'm going to say the best thing to do is send an email that links to the PDF, then they can download it so you don't have to print stuff. But if you want to actually hand out a printed material, then you may want to consider Lulu.com. I use for my books. My books, How to Turn Inbox Leads into Sales. Can you see it back there? And I have my travel agent. I use Lulu.com, and maybe they can produce that for you small, and you could print on demand. Okay. Check your local printers too. We want people to do business with you, the local travel agency. See if you can support your local printers too. Do little booklets. But I know, Carl, you're ready to go, Carl. You're ready to type in because there's a lot of places that do print-on-demand stuff. You just upload it, they'll send you a sample, and then you can order quantity. I don't know if Vistaprint does that. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. I get my business cards through Vistaprint, just so you guys know. But there are a lot of print-on-demand options, and that's what I would do. That's what I would check out. But you want to make a nice looking booklet too. And I don't know if Linda, if you want to get it sponsored too, so maybe you've got a supplier out there that has something that you can print on that they could co-op with you too. Their brand will be on it. But if it's a hotel, then listing 5 different destinations might be okay if those destinations are where the hotels are, right? A cruise line may not be good if it's not one of the destinations, unless it is one of the destinations. I don't know. All right, let me scroll down and see what we got here. Ba, 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 ba. All right. Okay. Lynn said didn't receive the email. All right, that's cool. We're gonna get it done, everybody. We're gonna get it done. All right. Marina says, how do we get all the web addresses listed? What web addresses? Web addresses. Tell me, what did I miss here? Go back. Did I run too fast here, Marty? Hey, Marty. Stuart, my agency does the escrow and supplier payments as a benefit for my IC consultants working with us. We work together so it's not a burden on the consultants. Let me read this again. Marty's agency does the escrow and the supplier payments as a benefit for there. So Marty, you've got independent consultants who work with you, and you actually set up escrow and the supplier payments. So there you go. So there is escrow. So also your ICs know that you're not taking the money and you're not running off to Cancun and disappearing off the face of the earth with the cash. You're a good guy. We work together so that it's not a burden on consultants. Great stuff. Michael says, awesome. Cool, man. You're awesome. Huh? You're awesome. Melissa says, I checked the spam folder, nothing there. Yes, I like to listen to Mike speak. Cool. Mike Marship's going to be here. And Melissa, I'll get your email fixed. Michael says, not for me. I prefer affinity groups, family, and friends, etc. Okay, so now we're talking about corporate. If you want corporate information, because I know it's not for everybody. And there's also social marketing stuff. Ramona says, I would like more information on incentive and corporate groups. Thank you for sharing, Ramona. Marina, would Marshall be okay with me talking about her live? Marshall, be okay with me talking to her live about how she does her payments? Maybe. Maybe. You guys need to connect, maybe do an instant message on Facebook, or I'll connect you guys, but that's up to Marshall. You know, I would love it. It's all a timing thing, but that's a wonderful thing. So Marshall, you got Marina, who's a big fan, who wonders if you have a couple minutes to spend with her to talk about that. Linda says, never thought of a sponsor. Rock and roll. Marty says, shop local, folks, for your supplies. That's what we're all about. You bet. I agree with you. I really, really do try to shop as local as possible on stuff because you want your clients to shop with you locally too. We got 3 minutes left. Okay, here we go. Elaine, is there a resource for ideas on incentive travel? I have a group of 50 professionals who travel together every year, and between what they've already done and what they're prepared to spend and what they want but can't have, wow, that was a brain twister, a brain teaser. I'm going stir crazy. LOL, I get it. So a resource for ideas on incentive travel. You know, there are. I'm going to see if I can get you the incentive. The problem, and there is a separate publication on incentive travel that you may want to subscribe to. You know, one of the key things is to really play. I would say to play detective. Of course, see their history, where they've been. Get a pulse. Do they want beach and relaxation? Do they want adventure? Do they want culture? Do they want some specific experiences? What do they look for? And then you, the travel professional, go back, sit back and say, here's the budget that they're looking at, because with an incentive trip, you know, you're going to collect one check. That's a beautiful part of incentive travel. The individuals aren't paying you. You get one check, and whatever the company decides is where everybody's going to go. And these are the winners. These are the big winners. And the thing is, sometimes they go luxury, they go upscale, they go in style, and it could be at locations, destinations, not necessarily cruise. Like I'm just thinking, like the Biltmore in Asheville. That maybe you don't things you don't do business with every day. So these are great questions. I know there's got to be a million resources. Excuse me, that are online because everyone wants to sell their place for incentives. But let me see if I can get a particular book or magazine that lists stuff for you and post it. And by the way, before you go, I got 1 minute left. I did post a handout. You guys see that handout there? It's a handout. Now, if you can't get it down off it's called, there it is. You can't get it off my screen. You have to get it off your, just download it. It's in boot camp in the Ask the Expert. at the very bottom, whenever I add new stuff, I put it down there. So it's down there if you can't download it. It's about sponsorships, and we just talked about that briefly. But sponsorships are another great idea to help sell more and to build your bottom line. Ed, school groups, high school groups, tips, best practices. We're gonna have to do this next time because that's a whole other issue, and we are on time right now. We gotta go. Hey everybody. Thank you so very much. I hope your Thanksgivings were sumptuous and wondrous. And we'll see you all on the 15th. Keep in touch. Be in touch. I'll get the emails fixed. Thank you for being at boot camp, everybody.